What's up, meta nerds? This video is all about the Amaxine Warriors. They were a militia group that was being manipulated by the First Order to carry out attacks and spread terror throughout the New Republic. The events that I'm going to talk about all take place about 28 years after the Battle of Yavin, though this new group actually took its name from an ancient militaristic people that dated all the way back to the beginning of the Galactic Republic. These original Amaxine Warriors would act like mercenaries, but instead of accepting currency, they would only trade for goods and services. Leia's adopted mother, Bria Organa, actually told a story to a young Leia about the Amaxine Warriors. She told the old legends of a warrior people who could never bring themselves to make peace with the old Republic. Having more pride than skill, the Amaxines realized that they could never defeat the Republic and decided to leave this galaxy in search of another one. By the time of the fall of the Empire and the New Republic, the galaxy had thought the Amaxine Warriors to be long extinct. But sometime before 28 ABY, Carisse Sindian, a former TIE pilot turned scavenger and businesswoman, ended up becoming the leader of an organization that she would name the Amaxine Warriors. This paramilitary group was able to salvage a ton of different weapons and vehicles from the Galactic Civil War. Their main headquarters was actually located underwater, in a large base that contained tons of ammunition, weapons, and old starfighters like X-Wings, Y-Wings, B-Wings, and TIE fighters. They had an almost cult-like worship of any kind of relics from the old Empire, and they would make tons of money selling these relics to other collectors. This admiration of the Empire even affected the way the Amaxines looked and how they fought. Their uniform consisted of a black jumpsuit, and although most of them carried a blaster, many of them preferred the Force Pike, the infamous weapon of the Emperor's Royal Guard. This is where Lady Carisse Sindian comes into play. She is a senator in the New Republic, but she is secretly working for the First Order. At this time, the First Order is hiding out in the unknown regions, building up its strength, and working on ways to tear down the New Republic from within. The First Order provides Lady Carisse with a ton of money, which she then puts to use backing a Nikto crime lord by the name of Rinrivin, and by funding the essentially terrorist Amaxine Warriors. Rinrivin and his Nikto cartel took over the power vacuum that was left with the fall of the Hutts. On the outside, it looked like the Amaxine Warriors provided all the muscle, and the Niktos carried out the actual smuggling and distribution. They were able to conduct so many successful raids against Ryloth commercial shipping that their senator pleaded with Leia to help. Senator Leia and Senator Ransom Casterfo conduct an investigation and find out that Rinrivin's cartel and the Amaxine Warriors had a common link. Lady Carisse asked the Amaxine Warriors to create an event which would distract them from looking into all the smuggling. In what would be called the napkin bombing, explosives were placed in the conference building of the New Republic's Galactic Senate. But this was not intended to kill anyone, and luckily Leia found a note that said "run," and was able to evacuate the building before the explosives went off. Lady Carisse was very upset by this event, criticizing the Amaxine Warriors for not being able to come up with a more discreet distraction. And the napkin bombing only made Leia and Ransom Casterfo work even harder to figure out who was behind the Cartel and the Amaxine Warriors. They discover a massive training facility on the planet Daxam 4, and realize that the Amaxines aren't just some ragtag militia, but had an enormous fleet of starfighters and thousands of disgruntled youth who were all willing to die for their cause. Leia and C-3PO headed to their underwater base on Cybesco, which outwardly appeared to be an enormous smuggling hub. C-3PO was able to access banking records, which showed that the Amaxine Warriors were funneling billions of credits to Rinrivin. Rinrivin's cartel would then send its money to centrist worlds, planets that had grown to be frustrated with the New Republic government. The files also showed that the Amaxines were preparing for a full-scale assault against the Republic military. Leia's snooping was discovered, however, but during the escape, an Amaxine starfighter that was shot down crashed into a large ammunition store, creating an enormous explosion which took out many Amaxines and their supplies. But the problem was that it also took out any other potential evidence that might have been found at the scene. Leia was certain that there was some other force that was funding both of these organizations, but without the concrete evidence, both believed that the story was simply that the Amaxines had been the sole financial backers of Rinrivin's cartel. Senator Ransom Casterfo tried to help support Leia's claim that there was still another, much larger threat that had yet been undiscovered. And so to discredit Ransom Casterfo, Lady Carisse obtained footage from when Casterfo was investigating the Amaxine Warriors and had the video doctored so it looked like he was training with the paramilitary group. When Carisse Sindian contacts Lady Carisse, the senator tells the leader of the Amaxines that her paramilitary group had become too big of a problem and that they had long outlived their usefulness. Lady Carisse pulled her support, realizing that so much of their force had been destroyed at Cybesco, and that the recklessness of their organization was likely to draw attention to the First Order. The Amaxines had been promised that they would be the spearhead of the First Order's eventual attack on the New Republic. But realizing that her organization had fallen apart, Sindian used her final move to assassinate Leia's friend and fellow senator Tylan Gar. Like the Amaxines of old, she would refuse to surrender to the Republic, and instead took her own life. The New Republic mourned, but they believed that the threat of the Amaxine Warriors was finally over. Leia was still unable to convince the New Republic to further look into this secret organization that was funding them, and frustrated with this inaction, she broke away from the New Republic and formed her own military organization solely devoted to seeking out and eliminating this still unnamed threat growing stronger in the galaxy. Well, that's it for the Amaxine Warriors. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdsLore, so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But more important than all that, remember, when acting as a shadow proxy for the First Order, always get it in writing, and the Force will be with you, always.